Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm in the hospital and I just had the most amazing, crazy day ever. Yeah, literally will never forget this day. So I wanted to share my birthing experience with you because for me it was a positive one. I hope that my story can help others having doubts maybe about where to give birth, how to give birth in Italy, what your options are. I kind of had to learn. Oh, Leonardo's here. I'll show you in a second. Yeah. I just kind of had to learn on my own what the options were. So hopefully navigating the system will be easier for you guys with this video. So this is the end of day one. Basically, I decided to have a natural birth if possible. That was my plan. And natural birth, by that I mean like no induction, just whenever he's ready going into labor, even if that meant, you know, he was really big. And that also meant I didn't want an epidural because I'm terrified of needles. And so that gave me more stress than the idea of having to work through the pain. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to work with a doula here in Milan, which is an option that I didn't know existed until I started doing research on it. But I cannot recommend enough the doula that I worked with, Margherita. I'm going to tag her here. If you're looking for someone in Milan or in northern Italy to support you and your decisions, whatever those are, so whether that's a home birth, a hospital birth, with epidural, with no epidural, no matter what, she is just an amazing support system, especially as an international person who speaks English. That gave me so much, it took off so much stress knowing that someone was here with me in my camp who spoke English, who had my best interests at heart, and who knew what they were talking about. So yeah, I'll run through a little bit of what happened last night. We didn't film anything. I was in a very meditative state to get through the pain, and it just kind of happened. My water broke at 6 p.m. basically. We were having dinner, and 10 days before the due date, and I just didn't think anything of it. I was having contractions all day, but I was like, oh, these must be Braxton Hicks. I'm too early to be having real contractions. And then at 6 p.m. water broke, and I was like, oh, well, this is a sign. So from then on, I started getting real contractions. I worked with Margherita on the phone, you know, sharing what was happening, letting her know where I was, what was going on. And they got more intense, more intense, more intense. And I made it pretty good until about 4 in the morning. So from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. I had steady contractions, pretty steady contractions. And I worked through them with breathing techniques that Margherita taught me in her course. So in her hypnobirthing course, but also just in her doula course. And yeah, it was super helpful. I would not have been able to get through it had it not been for that, because honestly at 4 a.m. I was not sure I can keep going. I'm exhausted. He's making little noises. He's so cute. Hi everyone. I was interrupted there because in the hospital I had people coming in and out of my room to check on me, to check on Leonardo. And so I wasn't able to finish my videos. That was day one, literally the night after I had given birth. And so I think I still thought that, you know, my schedule from before Leonardo would stay the same. Little did I know that, you know, this is gonna take a lot more time than I thought out of my day. And so I haven't got the chance to actually sit down and properly film my birth experience until now. So I am almost 3 months postpartum now. As you can see, I look a little different than I did there in the last video because I have now washed my hair, I have makeup on. So that was really a raw look at me day one. And I did manage to film a few other things, so I will show you the whole experience now. So where I left off, I had my water break at 6 p.m. Realized that, you know, oh, this is happening. It was a little bit of a wake-up call because I had thought that I was having Braxton Hicks, so, you know, fake contractions all day long. I did not think that I was actually in labor until the water broke. So then I reached out to my doula who followed me through the whole procedure at home on the phone until 4 a.m. and then she came to my house to help us for 2 hours until 6 a.m. where I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I had to go to the hospital because it was time to, you know, give birth. With a doula, she has no way of, you know, checking how far along you are. So, you know, I just trusted in my body and knowing how much pain I was dealing with. I decided to go to the hospital at the point where I couldn't take it anymore at home. So I should explain why I decided to do this whole procedure at home. Since COVID, the Italian hospitals, and specifically the hospital that I picked, which is Ospedale San Giuseppe in downtown Milan, do not allow your partner to stay with you during the travaglio, which is your labor. So had I gone to the hospital before I was in active labor, which is when your contractions are steady and you're about to give birth, basically. The hospital considers it when you're actually gonna be pushing. So from, I don't know, 8 centimeters onwards. If you go there before then, they will admit you or send you home if you're really early. But if you are, you know, in labor, they will admit you, but they will send your partner home. So you have to do labor with a mask on by yourself. And from the beginning, that's just not something that I felt comfortable with for many reasons. You know, that moment, me going through labor, I want to feel the most comfortable that I can. And for me, that didn't, you know, I never pictured that with a mask. So given the choice, I decided to do that at home, where I didn't have to wear a mask. And because I don't speak the language, because I'm giving birth for the first time, this is a whole new experience for me. I wanted to do it with Michelangelo by my side, and that was so important for me. The idea of doing it alone stressed me out more. And one thing that I believe is that a calm mom, a stress-free mom means a stress-free experience. So the more stressed I was and the more stressful situations I put myself in, the more stressful the whole birthing experience was going to be. So from the beginning, I had my plan, and my plan was to do my labor at home and then go to the hospital to give birth. And so, like I said, I did it until 4 a.m. by myself here with Michelangelo, and I could handle the contractions up until then. It was basically as bad as period cramps, which for me are horrible all the time. So maybe that's why I have a high pain tolerance and I was able to just breathe through them. I had also done lots of breathing techniques with Margherita preparing for this. So I felt ready. I wasn't freaked out. I wasn't stressed. I was in the zone. I had my calm music on. I had my essential oils burning in the house, and I just felt, you know, felt okay. And so I kept going. At 4 a.m., like I said, I called Margherita to have her come because I couldn't take the pain anymore. And she came and she gave me a massage, and she helped me go to and from the bathroom. She helped me push through some of the pain, breathe through the cramps and the pain, and was just really a support system. I mean, Michelangelo was wonderful, but she just gave me a peace of mind and reassured me that I was doing everything okay. And then at 6 a.m., more or less, I was like, I think it's time to go to the hospital. I feel like the moment is here. I could just feel it. It just felt right. And so she actually drove us to the hospital, which was such a huge stress relief because the hospital is downtown. And because it's downtown, it's hard to get into, it's hard for parking. And so that was, again, another thing that took stress off of us as a couple, knowing that she was there to accompany us all the way. She was not allowed into the hospital with us. I was only allowed one person, and I wanted Michelangelo to be there, like I said, as my support system. So she left us at the hospital, wished us well, and was available by phone if I needed her. From then on, I was assisted by the staff at Ospedale San Giuseppe. And the only time I was divided from Michelangelo was at the beginning for my first evaluation to see how far along I was. And so he was taken into one room to do all the paperwork, and I was taken into an exam room to see how far along I was. At that point, they told me that I was at 8.5 centimeters and I was in active labor, so trabalho attivo. And so I was allowed to have Michelangelo come into the birthing room with me, and they brought us right into the room. I actually had visited the birthing room prior to all this because although you're not able to during COVID times, the staff there was so kind to me when I went and had some questions for them when I was picking my hospital. And they allowed me to go into one of the birthing rooms, like masked and covered, all obviously, to visit it to see if I felt comfortable there. And they had 2 birthing rooms available. They have a tub birthing room, and they have like a regular bed birthing room. And at the moment that you arrive at the hospital to give birth, you can decide if you want to do the birth in the tub or birth on the bed or in the room, the regular room. And so at that moment, I decided to go into the regular room. I was, like I said, already at 8.5 centimeters. And so I just had to wait a few hours and then push. Michelangelo was by my side. And one of the things that I loved about this structure, this hospital, is that I felt like they took into consideration what I wanted, which was so important to me. I wanted my needs to be met. I could have picked tons of different hospitals, but I picked this one because it's a smaller hospital. They have more time to dedicate to you because they don't have back-to-back births. At least they didn't on my night. And because they're a smaller hospital, they don't have that many clients. Not in a bad way. I just mean that people normally go to bigger hospitals to give birth, whereas I picked this one specifically because it's a little smaller, even though they do tons of births and it's very safe and they have state-of-the-art rooms and equipment. There wasn't like a lineup of people trying to give birth back to back, and so they weren't rushing me in and out, which I loved. So where was I? Okay, so we're in the birthing room. They allow me to bring in my essential oils. They already have a machine there, so I put my essential oils in. The lights are dimmed and put to the color that I want, and so we were able to really set the mood in the room. Michelangelo and I were in there with the doctor and the nurse who followed the birth, and there were not that many people that came in and out, which was, important for me. I wanted to feel at ease. I wanted to feel comfortable. They asked me if I wanted an epidural, and I said no. I mean, I was already at 8.5 centimeters, so at that point I was like, I can do this. Had I arrived and they said I was only halfway there, I probably would have asked for the epidural because I was so tired. I had eaten dinner, but I just was very, very tired from active labor and from all the breathing. And so thinking of keeping going another halfway, I probably would have asked for the epidural, but at this point, I was basically at the finish line. So I said, you can do this, push through. And so I told them I did not want the epidural. And so they attached the monitoring
fetal heartbeat monitor to my stomach, and they attached the IV to me for antibiotics, and they just, did their whole procedure. I didn't feel overwhelmed. I felt very safe with them, and their staff was, like I said, very courteous. They tried to speak English with me, which was very sweet. One of the doctors spoke good English, and so he spoke with me in English. The others not so well, but I was able to continue in Italian. Like I said, I wasn't sure how it was going to be in that moment. You never know what the situation is going to be, but oddly enough, I was able to, speak Italian in that time. I spoke to Michelangelo in Italian and spoke to them in Italian, so it all worked out fine. They did offer to have staff on call for you. I could have decided to have an English-speaking doctor on call for me, but it did have a cost. I think it was 2,000 euros. So I had decided not to do that because I knew I would have had Michelangelo by my side if I, couldn't make my way in Italian in that moment. He would have taken over for me, but it all worked out fine. So yeah, we had my birthing playlist on as well. So I had prepared a birthing playlist, which I'll actually link here for you. It's on Spotify. This is my personal playlist, so I don't know if it's going to be good for everyone, but this is the one that I loved, and it consisted of a whole lot of Celine Dion and Adele. So Leonardo came into the world to Celine Dion, and it was very calming, and it kept me, in the zone and calm with the essential oils. Like I said, I felt great. I felt like I could do this, and I did. In 2 hours, in 3 hours, he was born. So like I said, I was admitted at 6 a.m. and he was born just after 9 a.m. in 3 pushes. So it was a great experience. I must say that I did do a lot of research before selecting the hospital. And thanks to Margareta, I knew what questions to ask to make sure that I was selecting the hospital that best suited my needs. So I knew that this hospital offered skin-to-skin time as soon as the baby was born, and that's what they did. So Michelangelo cut the umbilical cord, and they put Leonardo on me, and we had skin-to-skin for an hour without anyone bothering us, just the 3 of us.
We did it! We did it! You're early, big guy. Quanto pesa?
Lo pesano dopo.
Ah, dopo.
Allora, mi disinfetti un attimino.
Fed him, and then we were brought into our room. So that was my birthing experience. Like I said, very, very positive experience. I wouldn't change anything. I'm very happy with how it all went. And I know that every experience is different, but I've been asked this question more than anything else is, how was it giving birth in Italy? I think as internationals, the thought of it is daunting because maybe we haven't spent time in hospitals here. Maybe you have in the emergency room and you've had a negative experience. A lot of people wonder what the public system is like versus the private system. And so I will show you now, I filmed what the public rooms are like. So in the hospitals in Italy, you have a public wing and a private wing. And before going to the hospital in labor, during the appointments, when they were filling out all the paperwork with me in the weeks prior, they asked me if I wanted to be public or private. And the private rooms are a little bit more, I guess, glamorous. They're more modern. They're a private room, so it's just one bed for you, a chair for your partner, and your partner is allowed to stay with you in the room. So they are not allowed to leave the hospital because of COVID. So once they are admitted with you, they stay with you until you are able to leave the hospital. But in the public rooms, the rooms are 2 beds, so you share a room with someone else. There's no curtain in the middle, so there's no privacy curtain. And so it's really sharing a room, sharing a bathroom. And your partner is not allowed to stay with you. So this is a rule that has been implemented since COVID. And the partners in the public rooms are only allowed to stay for 1 hour a day. This is probably the most negative part of the whole experience. The only thing that I can think of which was really negative is that after the whole thing, after giving birth, after the hour of skin to skin, the three of us together, we were brought into the room and then we were told that Michelangelo had to leave. Obviously, we were like at our maximum high of happiness. We had just met Leonardo. We were just trying to spend some time together. And we were told that we couldn't do that anymore. And I knew this was going to happen. They told us beforehand, but in that moment, you just hope that they would let you bend the rules. He did stay longer than an hour, but eventually the nurses came and told him, you know, you've been here more than an hour. You need to leave. You can come back at the visitation hour at the end of the day. And it was only him who was allowed to come at visitation hour. Or I should say, you're only allowed one person per day. So you can pick who that is. If it's your mom, your sister, your husband, your partner, I mean, whoever you want, but only one person for 1 hour. So that meant that I spent the whole day alone with Leonardo. As you could see in the video, I did have some downtime where I was able to film, but then, you know, nurses came in, doctors came in, or they had to take him to do checkups, or I had to feed. So it's not like I was just there lying around, or I was tired. I mean, I slept as well, as much as I could to try and get my energy back after a 14-hour labor. So I have to say the only negative side to all of this would be that I didn't get to spend the first 3 days 100% with my partner and our child. I would have loved that, but it is what it is. Hopefully when you're giving birth in Italy, the situation is different and the rules are different and you're able to really enjoy that time. So back to the differences between the two rooms. You have public sector, which is a shared room and a shared bathroom. And I will show you the video of what it looks like because that's what I picked. It has no cost, it's free. Private sector, you have a private room, a little bit more modern, a chair for your partner, and a private bathroom. The cost is the main difference. And so the public sector is free. It's covered by the government health plan, whereas the private rooms are not free, obviously. And in this case, it was, I believe, 600 euros a night. So typically people have to stay in the hospital between 2 to 3 nights. If you have a C-section, it's a little bit longer. And so given this information and the choice we had to make, we decided against the private room because we didn't want to invest that much money on staying in the hospital, and because we didn't have insurance that covered this sort of cost. And so we opted for the public room. Now, I got very lucky. I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's always like this, but in my case, I had the room to myself. So there was the bed next to me, but it was empty the whole time I was there, and I was there for 3 days. So I had the whole room to myself, the whole bathroom to myself. So like I said, the only downside to all of this was that I couldn't spend it with Michelangelo. But as soon as the 1 hour visitation struck, he was there. We spent the hour together, sometimes an hour and a half, because, you know, sometimes they had a little bit of leeway with the partners, and yeah, the rest of the day I just spent with Leonardo. So I'm going to give you a peek at the room so you can see what the room looks like. I also was able to film a few other bits and pieces over my time in the hospital. And yeah, that's about it. I would love to answer your questions about what it's like giving birth in Italy. So many people have contacted me asking in general what it's like, so I hope this answers that question. But if you have specific questions about what it's like to give birth in a public hospital in Italy, let me know. Every hospital is different, every city in Italy and every hospital in each city is different. I'm sure they have different rules, but I'm happy to share or answer any questions about my personal experience at Ospedale San Giuseppe. Now we're going to watch the clips that I filmed while I was there.
Hi everyone! Let me give you quickly a little hospital room tour so you can see what the public hospital that I picked in Milan offers in terms of a room. So I'm with the National Healthcare Plan, so I didn't pay to have a private room, but this is what they gave me, so I'll show you. So the room is for 2 people, but I've been alone the whole time, so I guess I got pretty lucky. It depends on how many people come to give birth and stay. And it's just one room. Well, there's a TV that I have never turned on. The bathroom. My personal essentials, obviously. So it's very simple, but in my opinion, it gets the job done. Maybe it's because I was lucky I didn't have to share with anyone, so I was absolutely fine. But yeah, very simple. So they don't give you, you have to remember to bring your own towels in this case. Toiletries I had already brought, but. And then you know, a little area to eat. The view of downtown Milan. And that's it. The beds are pretty comfortable and the food has been good. I mean, we're in Italy, they can't really mess up the food. The only thing I would say about the food is that breakfast is only a pack of cookies and some like machine coffee from like the vending machine. So I brought my own teas and I've been drinking my own teas and I brought my own thermos, so I totally recommend that if you're doing this. And also bring like your own breakfast bars if you want like breakfast foods. I usually have orange juice and yogurt at home. They didn't offer that here, so breakfast is the only one that was like but everything else is super good. Lunch and dinner good, like pasta, a meat or a vegetable like dish, and then a side dish, fruit, bread. Yeah, good food otherwise. So yeah, this is our last day here. We're gonna go home today. I got so excited that we're going home that I started coughing. One last thing, see that water bottle? Yeah, but they only give you a few little bottles a day, so be sure to pack like water, lots of water. I've been drinking like liters a day, so I just forgot to pack my reusable one in the last minute. I was going through labor and I didn't think of adding it to my bag, which I was going to do at the last minute, but anyways, oh well, I'm using plastic bottles. Make sure you bring lots, you're gonna need them. Water is super, super important. And yeah, they don't offer it here. They have vending machines where you can go buy it, but if you have someone coming, you can have them bring some water for you. So yeah, yay. They just told me we're all good to go home. I'm so happy. I had made a birthing playlist. It was 6 hours long. I obviously only needed 2 hours here in the hospital with it, but and I just put it back on while I was just washing my face, and the Phil Collins song came on from Tarzan, the You'll Be in My Heart, and I just started crying because I realized, you know, the moment like I'm going home with my kid. I'm so happy. I think this is the moment that I talked about. I didn't think it would happen. I didn't think this moment would come where it was like, it's mine, he's mine. Yeah. Ugh. It's a gross view because I'm in the hospital, but just know we're going home, we're all good, and I am just so happy. And I can't wait to start home with him. Eccoci.
Ciao.
Andiamo a casa. Okay. Leonardo, we're going home.
Ok, vai prima tu papà. Arriviamo.
Si va a casa.
Yay! We're on our way home from the hospital. Our first time in the car seat around, or the car seat, the stroller, and the car seat soon, around Milan. So far, so good. I think he likes it. Oh, yeah. Snuggled up warm in there. Someone has long nails, cut his face, so we're gonna fix those nails now when we go home. Here comes Papa. Ciao. Ciao. Ciao Leonardo. Andiamo a casa? We're gonna go home. Okay. Papa's gonna open the door? Yay! Yay!
So yeah, that's probably the biggest tips I can give you right now. But if you do have any more questions, please comment below. Let me know your thoughts. If you have given birth in Italy, I'd love to hear your experience. I hope that it was a positive one like mine. And thanks again for checking in. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao!